Mixed. I'm going to talk about the definition. We're going to drop right now into the whiteboard the definition of Merriam-Webster. So Merriam-Webster says mixed, made up of or involving individuals or items of more than one kind, deriving from two or more races, deriving from two or more breeds. So these definitions are from Merriam-Webster. And something that I want to call attention to is the idea of kind and breed, especially with the word breeds. That definition speaks to just the dehumanization of mixed people in the term mixed. And I can speak from the I here, but I know a lot of mixed people have heard the "what are you" question, right? The like, or even "what is she" question. And every single time I hear this, it just feels kind of like yucky and ooey. It feels like someone asking, honestly, like it just kind of feels like someone asking like a dog owner almost like what their dog is, right? Like, in fact, the only other time I have heard the question, "what is she?" And this is the first challenge, right? Think about when you heard the question, "what is she?" When was the last time you heard the question, "what is she?" Because besides talking about mixed people, the only other time I've heard "what is she" is in that situation, right? What is she? What is she? Oh, she's German Shepherd, Labradoodle, whatever. And that feels really, really bad to me. And it feels like, and I'm gonna kind of, I know this is like an oops ouch even for me, but I've heard people call me this term, and I just want to echo it now. Like, it feels like we're kind of calling mixed people mutts. And I know this word doesn't even feel right to me coming out of my mouth, but I want to challenge everyone to think of when they first came to the word mixed, even if it was recently. And if you've ever referred to yourself as a mutt before, because I have heard mixed people say that they were mixed and they were mutt. And I used to actually call myself a mutt too. Like when I was first coming into the term mixed, it was hard for me to claim that. So I would kind of put myself down and say like, oh, like I'm mixed, like I'm a mutt. And I've literally heard people call mixed people mutts before. And I just want to say, like, if that's been your experience, like I see you and I know that that's an oops ouch, because that's an oops ouch for me too. And why that word is such a bad word, as we all know, is because the definition of that is literally, a dog, especially a mongrel, and a person regarded as stupid and incompetent. Yes. So many ways that this hits. I love that we're dropping in the chat already. And, it feels like this concept, right? That mixed people like are mutts, that they aren't fully whole things, right? That we're not pure and not authentic. And I had recently someone say, like, really, do people really call other mixed people mutts? And yes, they do. Recently, even amidst all of the language that we have around identity now, I'm going to share a personal story. This summer, I was sitting with a friend and we were at an outdoor restaurant and we were talking about being mixed. And our white waiter came over and interrupted our conversation and said, "Don't call yourselves mixed because you sound like you guys are calling yourselves mutts in a bad way. Like, you guys should refer to yourselves as ethnically ambiguous. Please, please." This was an actual experience that I had last year. So this is still a real thing. And if this is your experience, I feel you, I validate you, and I know that that's an oops ouch moment. So why, as I said, does this word kind of hurt? For me, it stings because it says like we're not pure and we're not authentic. And I want to touch on this, like, not authenticity. Like, so let's talk about not being authentic for a minute. Like, what is this thing about needing to choose a side and actually saying we are mixed, right? Like, this is the part where I also say, like, I see you, my fellow mixed babes on here, because let's say we claim mixed, not mutt, but mixed. And this has been my personal experience. Our communities go wild, right? Like, you can't claim mixed because you're not half Black. Only people who are part Black can claim mixed. Why are you claiming mixed? Aren't you proud of being a part of this community? You're too much of a white girl to claim this side of you, but you're not white. So what are you? Oh, you're mixed with what? Really? Are you sure you actually look more like you could be this? Are you sure you're not? So I love everything dropping in the chat right now. Like, drop in the chat and feel free to add into the whiteboard, like, what you've heard around the word mixed, right? Like, these have been all my personal experiences, and I love everyone weighing in. So continue to share your stories. Thank you so much. This is really a space, as I said, for everyone to share. So where I've come to this word now, right? After having people tell me I'm not authentic enough to claim mixed, after having my communities get really upset over me not claiming one part or claiming one part when they think that I don't belong, is like, who can really call themselves mixed? right? Like, what does this word mean? So drop in the chat what the word mixed means to you. Drop on the whiteboard what mixed means to you, and we'll add it and we can see where the community comes together. But I'm going to talk about kind of where I find this word now. Because I believe that mixed is really someone that's living in the grayness of intersectionality. We're going to get intersectionality. Okay, I love people are dropping already. Mixed. Thank you for sharing. Absolutely. For me, mixed kind of falls into someone who lives in the grayness of intersectionality. More people are mixed than they ever think about, because I think mixed means so many more different things. I mean, academically speaking, sure, it's race, but I think that's not even true. Because let's look at the definition here, even made up of or involving individuals of more than one kind. Thank you for dropping this into the chat. We're going to add this to the whiteboard. These are amazing. But let's look at that, right? Made up of or involving individuals of more than one kind. If you're not straight and living in a heteronormative world, that's a mixed experience, to me at least, right? This is where I've come to this word. You're navigating two different things. If you grew up in one country and moved somewhere else, there are two different worlds that you're navigating. The way that I claim mixed now is this beautiful word, actually, that is just vague enough and big enough to possibly capture every single thing that I have to offer. It's literally a word big enough to fully capture 100% Mexican, 100% Polish, growing up culturally indigenous, coming from, a different family life, dealing with the things that I've dealt with in life. It's my personality, being an artist and an entrepreneur in the 21st century. I love all these definitions. Let's keep dropping them. It's being a woman navigating a world that's led by men. It's being a minority in spaces that are predominantly white. For me, mixed is a beautiful word that is actually big enough to house how diverse my identity is. And that's what mixedness means to me. And that's where I come to it now. And the thing about this word that I found is that it's an umbrella that I use, but I can change everything under the umbrella at any time that I want to. And this is a resource that we do recommend people to even use, like Maria P.P. Root's, Bill of Rights and Social Oath of Responsibility, right? It's that I completely have the authority as a mixed person to wake up one day and say, like, I'm a Polish woman, that's 100% what I am, but I'm still mixed, right? Like, I'm still bringing to the table of life these perspectives that are unique to myself.